Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson is a motivational book about how people deal with change and adapt to new situations. The story is about a transformation that takes place in a maze where four characters hunt for cheese, with cheese functioning as a metaphor for what we desire out of life. The two mice described in the narrative are given the names Sniff and Scurry, while the two little people are Hem and Haw. These four fictional characters are meant to symbolize both the straightforward and the intricate aspects of our personalities. Regardless of whatever aspects of ourselves we decide to utilize, we all have one thing in common: the need to navigate the maze and achieve success under ever-evolving circumstances. Book overview. A reunion brings together a group of old friends. They talk about their lives up to this point, including the problems they've had at work and at home and how they've solved them. He talks about how his business was about to fail until he heard a story that changed his mind and helped him turn things around for the better. He then goes on to tell the story. A long time ago, in a land far, far away, two mice and two very small people lived together in a big maze. At first, everyone is very committed to their work. They had to get up very early every morning and work hard to get the cheese. The mice Sniff and Scurry find a lot of this cheese all at once one day. Not far away, Hem and Haw, the little people, also find a lot of cheese, which, in their context, means riches are the things that people want in life. Everyone sits down to eat, or, to put it another way, to enjoy the good things in their lives. While the humans put their shoes away, put on slippers, and just enjoy their mountain of cheese, the mice leave their running shoes near the station and go there every day to see if anything has changed. Like if the cheese has gone bad or if there isn't enough of it. This means that people don't care at all that their wealth or cheese might run out one day. And one day there was no more cheese. Sniff and Scurry the mice look around the room for more, but they can't find any. This makes them feel more and more frustrated. Sniff and Scurry decided to go back into the maze to look for more cheese. They get ready to go by putting on their running shoes and looking at Hem and Haw to see if they are going to follow them. When they tried to follow them, Hem and Haw waved them off and said they'd stay in the room all night in the hopes that the cheese would come back in the morning. Sniff and Scurry went to look around the rest of the maze for more cheese. When Sniff smells a new food source, he runs to the place right away. They find a lot of cheese quickly and start eating it as soon as they find it. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, still go to the empty room every day, hoping to find some fresh cheese. They can't believe that their easy way of life is over. Hem is angry and thinks that the cheese was moved by someone else. He keeps asking himself, how can they treat us like this? Where's the cheese? How could they do that to us? Etc. Hem thinks they should wait for the others to give them back their cheese because they have a right to it. In this way, Hem points the finger at things outside of himself. Also, they haven't eaten in days, so they are getting very weak. Haw isn't sure, so he wants to know if they should look for cheese in a different place or if Sniff and Scurry have already found some. Hem, on the other hand, is set in his ways and doesn't want to go. After going hungry for a few days and realizing that the cheese won't magically come back, Haw decides to go into the maze by himself, even though he is scared and is all by himself. Haw soon finds little pieces of cheese hidden in different places. Even though he is worried and confused, he knows that the hunt is an exciting adventure and in no way bad. Haw realized that if he had paid close attention when there was still a lot of cheese, he would have seen that it was getting smaller and that it didn't taste as good after a while. He would have been able to keep the cheese from going bad after that. Even though Haw couldn't find a big, fresh cheese at the time, he was happy with his decision to leave that empty room. After deciding to do something, he felt more energized and in charge. Whenever he had doubts, he would picture himself getting the biggest cheese in the world, which gave him the motivation to keep going. As Ha has new ideas, he writes them on the walls of the maze. He does this in the hopes that Ham will one day find his way out of the maze and use the notes as he travels. One day, Ha comes across a huge stash of cheese in the same place where Sniff and Scurry live. Ha is very happy and quickly gets comfortable. But he keeps his running shoes close by in case this batch of cheese runs out. Ha also checks the cheese station every day, looking for signs of moldy cheese or anything else that might mean something is about to go wrong. He thought about finding Ham and bringing him there to try the new cheese. But in the end, he decided that Ham should make his own choice. He had left him enough tracks to follow if he wanted to get out of that situation. Ha also realized that he could have found the new cheese faster if he had walked out into the maze earlier. Still, he told himself, better late than never. When the students hear this story, they talk about how it might apply to their own lives. Michael is glad they liked the story and hopes they will tell other people about it. Key highlights from the book. 1. Accept the change and welcome it. Change is the only thing that never changes in this world. Whether it's your job or your business, things will change over time, and you have to change with them. If you don't, you'll end up like Ham in this story and lose your cheese. Customers stopped buying from people and businesses. That didn't change with the times. Nokia or Blockbuster or two companies that did this well. The book emphasizes that change is a natural part of life, and we should expect it. When we get too comfortable with a particular situation, we become complacent, and this can lead to our downfall. 2. Faced with difficult changes, look for new chances to grow as a person. When cheese was no longer available, Ham and Ha had to deal with the change. They responded by blaming each other and not doing anything to make things better. Instead, they could have done something that was in their control. In the same way, as things change, we need to keep looking for new ways and opportunities to broaden our views. When change happens, we should take action and not wait for things to go back to the way they were. In the book, Ham initially waits for the cheese to come back, but eventually realizes that he needs to take action and go in search of new cheese in order to survive. 3. Conquer your fears. You might decide to stay where you are out of fear, like Ha did, but your anxiety will go away once you start picturing all the good things that will happen if you accept change. Remember what Ha said when he asked, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" Ha realizes that he was wrong to be afraid of going outside to get more cheese. He had let his fear grow, but things weren't really that bad. He has problems in the maze, but he realizes that he's happier being in charge of his life than being a victim of it. He keeps going because he keeps picturing himself eating new cheese. Seeing your goals in your mind is one way to get over this fear, which is what Ha did. Make a picture of the future that makes you want it to be better. Once you start, change might not be so bad. 4. Always keep an eye out. Like Sniff and Scurry, there are some people who are always aware of how things are changing around them. These are the people who notice the change sooner, adjust to it, and then get the most out of it. You have to do what they do. Keep an eye out for changes that will happen in the next 6 to 10 years. Get better by learning new skills and moving in the right direction. We should always be on the lookout for signs of change and be prepared to adapt quickly. In the book, Sniff and Scurry embody this message by being constantly on the move and never getting too attached to one source of cheese. 5. It's better to accept change than to try to stop it. Most people think that change is bad and should be avoided at all costs. They always think about the past. There are times when it's good to move forward. In fact, the technological advances we take for granted today are the direct result of new things that have happened over time. When you realize that change is necessary and have a positive attitude about it, you will be able to enjoy the process of change. Change can be scary and difficult, but it is also an opportunity for growth in personal development. In the book, Hall learns to embrace change and even becomes excited by the prospect of finding new cheese. Conclusion: the only thing that stays the same is change, which you can't stop. It will take place. Everyone has their own way of dealing with it. Some people just sit back, blame God, and feel sorry for themselves. Some people refuse to change no matter what. But there are also people who are always ready, willing and able to get back on their feet and make the best of things. In this story, the cheese is found, moved and then found again. Even if the changes aren't for the better, we can still get our cheese by changing our habits, facing them head on, and doing everything we can to break through the mental barriers that keep us from accepting them and becoming more proactive people. Who Moved My Cheese is a quick read with a powerful message about adapting to change. The book is relevant to anyone who is facing change in their personal or professional lives. By embracing change and taking action, we can find new opportunities and thrive in new situations.